Dear colleagues, Excellencies, I am glad to see you all again here in UNESCO headquarters to pursue the work of the 14th session of the committee. Before we go through our agenda and timetable for the coming days, allow me to briefly say a few words on what we have already achieved in Istanbul last July. As you know, the opening ceremony of the 40th session was held on Sunday, 10th July 2016. A total of 1,041 participants from 118 state parties and observers were present all along the session, with several delegations at ministerial level. Some 160 international journalists from all over the world, in addition to local media, were also in Istanbul to cover the session. In Istanbul, we first had a look at the outcomes of the Youth Forum entitled At the Crossroads of Multi-Layer Heritage, in which young representatives from 35 countries participated. You will also remember that upon my initiative and in consultation with the committee members, we unanimously adopted the Istanbul Declaration. By that, we reaffirmed the need for the preservation of our common heritage in form of a bold message to international community, while also testifying our joint responsibility in safeguarding our heritage for the next generations. During the following days, we were able to review 155 reports on the state of conservation of properties inscribed on the World Heritage List. We have decided to inscribe 8 properties on the list of World Heritage in danger. At the same time, the historical monuments of Miskete of Georgia were removed from the list of World Heritage in danger. As I had said during my opening remarks in Istanbul, a heavy agenda with many important items was before us, and we were going through our work in a swift and effective manner. This being said, as you all know, extraordinary circumstances have led us on 17 July to adjourn our session. Indeed, on the night of 15 July, a faction of the Turkish armed forces attempted to overthrow the elected government of Turkey. Following the democratic resolve of our state and people, the coup attempt failed and democracy prevailed. The government was in full charge, all constitutional mechanisms were in place, and public order was restored in best terms. As a result of our meticulous efforts, tighter security measures were taken at and around the session venue. Protection was fully operational and doubled in number. Nevertheless, despite vigorous security measures undertaken and our willingness to continue the session, our committee was not able to complete its work as it was planned in light of security instructions of UN headquarters. Dear colleagues, although we were in a position to suspend our session after 6 days of work, our committee was tremendously productive. In addition to SOC reports to which I referred to, we also had in-depth discussions on new nominations and were able to inscribe 21 new properties on the World Heritage List, 12 of them being cultural, 6 natural, and 3 mixed. In this context, the state parties of Micronesia and Antigua and Barbuda had their first property inscribed on the World Heritage List. The working groups on budget and operational guidelines also made good progress in their work that they will resume during the present session. Moreover, 37 side events of big scale were organized in the margin of our session in Istanbul. Finally, dear colleagues, it should be noted that there was a large press coverage of our session. A total of 5,509 articles in all 6 UNESCO languages and Turkish were published worldwide. This is a clear sign of the interest the international community is giving to our work. These figures are also the testimony of the importance of the responsibility of our committee. Now allow me to come to the work which is still before us. As indicated in the letter of invitation that was sent to you last September, we will have 2 different tasks during the continuation of this session. First of all, we will pursue the examination of items that are pending, namely items 7, 7A, 8B, and 17. Secondly, we will examine the remaining items on our agenda, namely items 8A, 8C, 8D, 8E, 9A, 10A, 10B, 11, 12, 13A, 13B, 14, 15, 16, 18, and 19. Dear friends, dear colleagues, as also indicated in the letter of invitation, no additional document is being prepared for the session, with the exception of the timetable and the annotated agenda. You have both of them in front of you. Allow me to recall that all working and information documents for the 40th session in English and French may be consulted on the World Heritage Center's website at the address that is on the screen behind me. I would also like to recall that, as it was the case in Istanbul, and according to Decision 35-12b, paragraph 22 of the World Heritage Committee, the proceedings of our meeting will be live-streamed over the web through the address which appears on the screen now and which is also available on the website of the 40th session. Secondly, please note that interpretation of our plenary sessions will be available in English and French only. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, you will remember that the committee, by decision 40-2, accredited a number of observers, representatives of NGOs, IGOs, permanent observer missions to UNESCO, and non-profit making institutions having activities in the fields covered by the Convention as listed in document WHC 16/40.com/2. Subsequently to this decision, item 2 of the agenda was closed. In this regard, no new observer request has been accepted further to a consultation of the Bureau. Therefore, only those observers already accredited in Istanbul have been invited to attend the continuation of the meeting in Paris. I would like now to invite Madame Rösler to present the agenda and timetable of work of the continuation of the session as presented in the information documents INF 3A.2 and INF.3b. Madame Rösler, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. It's a great pleasure to work with you again and with the whole committee and all observers. For those who are standing in the back of the room, we have a retransmission in room 4, so there are seats for everybody. Now, I will talk to the annotated agenda information document 3A2 and the timetable information document 3B, timetable of the work of the session. The annotated agenda contained in this document presents the status of the examination of the items. There are 4 items which were already opened in Istanbul for which the examination could not be terminated. That's first of all item 7, state of conservation of World Heritage properties. This item is still open as it was decided that decision 7 will be taken after the completion of all the items 7A and 7B to take into account any debates on these items. You will remember that following the presentation of this item in Istanbul, a number of amendments have been received for draft decision 40-7, and it's therefore proposed to finish with the examination of the draft decision and any related amendments on Wednesday morning as soon as we have completed the examination of item 7A. Now, item 7.8, the state of conservation of properties inscribed on the list of World Heritage in danger. All decisions under this item have been adopted except decision 40com 7.8.13 concerning the old city of Jerusalem and its walled site proposed by Jordan, and you have a draft decision regarding this item. Item 8b, nominations to the World Heritage List. All decisions under item 8b have been adopted except one, which is decision 40com 8b11 concerning Karing Krashan Forest Complex in Thailand. As you know, the examination of this matter could not be terminated in Istanbul. Furthermore, under item 8b, we will have to adopt decisions 40com 8b35 to 8b48 concerning any minor boundary modifications of natural, mixed and cultural properties already inscribed on the World Heritage List, as well as decision 40com 8b50 on the statements of outstanding universal value. And then, as just discussed in the Bureau, we have open item 17, election of the chairperson, vice chairpersons and rapporteur of the 41st session of the committee in 2017. The chairperson has been elected, the future chairperson, and I see him here in the room. Welcome. And the rest of the Bureau members remain to be elected. It is therefore proposed to adopt decision 40com 17.2 for this purpose. And as we discussed in the Bureau, we sincerely hope that all consultations have been taking place to allow the completion of the composition of the Bureau tomorrow afternoon when we examine item 17. Furthermore, the following items should be examined: 8A, 8C, 8D, 8E, 9A, 10A, 10B, 11, 12, 13A, 13B, 14, 15, 16, 18, and 19. Concerning item 11, which is operational guidelines, and item 15, the working groups established by the committee at the beginning of the 40th session will continue their work here in Paris. As you have seen from the documents, it is proposed that the budget working group meets today from 2 to 3 p.m. and you are very welcome to attend. And at the same hours tomorrow, if necessary. They still have to complete their work. And the operational guidelines working group will meet from 5 p.m. onwards today and from 4:30 p.m. onwards tomorrow. And the meetings of these working groups will take place in room 4. Now, Madam Chair, the timetable of work is contained in document IN 3B. It has been prepared taking into account several constraints. So it's very carefully crafted, and notably the need for the working groups to finish their work before taking decisions 11 and 15, and the wish of the committee to have item 13A be examined at the same time as these two other items. Therefore, and as just discussed by the Bureau, a large number of items can only be examined on the very last day of the session. That means on 26th of October, this Wednesday. Finally, Madam Chair, there are only a few side events. One is, which was already planned in Istanbul by the Netherlands, which is entitled Cool! World Heritage Education in the Netherlands, today at lunchtime in room 9. And we have a second side event by the culture sector presenting the UNESCO Global Report on Culture and Sustainable Urban Development on Wednesday at 3:30 in room 4, because our ADG is just back from Habitat 3, as you may wish to know. With this, I have completed my presentation, Madam Chair. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madame Rösler. Before asking the committee members if they have any questions or comments on the draft timetable of our committee meeting, I would like to bring to your attention that we received on Friday a written request from a non-committee member to postpone the examination of item 8A regarding tentative list until after item 11 regarding revision of the operational guidelines currently scheduled for Wednesday morning. Also, we have received a request from another non-committee member country to keep the agenda item as it is scheduled. As you know, it is up to committee members to decide on any modification regarding agenda and timetable. That's why I would like to ask the committee members if they have any comment on it and if they support the request to postpone the agenda item 8A after agenda item 11 regarding revision of the operational guidelines currently scheduled for Wednesday morning. The floor is open for the questions and the comments of the members of the committee. Yes, I give the floor to the representative of Cuba. You have the floor, sir.
Gracias, señora presidenta. No, así va. Gracias. No? Okay, in English. Thank you, Madam Chair. So Cuba would like to support the idea to postpone this point of the agenda.
Lebanon, you have the floor, sir.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Simplement un petit point d'information. En tant que président du groupe de travail qui examine la question des orientations, juste pour dire que sur le point 68 des orientations, nous avons un point qui est à l'ordre du jour concernant les tentative lists, les listes indicatives. Donc ce point va être discuté dans le groupe de travail. Voilà, merci.
Any other member of the committee asking for the floor on this matter? I give the floor to the representative of Peru. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to express that Peru support the proposal.
Do we see another? May I ask the committee members if they have any objection to the proposal to postpone agenda item 8A on tentative list to Wednesday after the agenda item 11. Although we all know that we have a very tight schedule for Wednesday, I have to remind to the committee members that we have a tight schedule, but I would like to ask the committee members, because 2 committee members already spoke in favor of this proposal, this request. So may I ask the other committee members if they have any objection to postpone this agenda item 8A to Wednesday? I see nobody is asking for the floor from the members of the committee. May I ask the legal advisor if he is here? You have to. May I ask? Yes, first, Ambassador of Finland, you have the floor. Then I will ask the legal advisor to enlighten us about the procedure, how we can change, amend, or delete any item in our agenda, what kind of voting we need for that. Finland, you have the floor first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As I'm a newcomer here at the 5th week as a new ambassador at the UNESCO, my question is actually for seeking advice. Are we going to handle this second proposal by a non-member to keep this agenda item as scheduled somehow? Because there were 2 different proposals, I understood. Thank you.
May I invite our legal advisor to enlighten us about the procedure about these 2 different requests? First, to postpone, and the second one is to keep the agenda item as it is scheduled for today. You have, where is he? You have the floor, sir.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Effectivement, en réponse à votre question, je voudrais vous préciser que bien évidemment, il relève de la compétence du comité de se prononcer sur votre proposition que vous faites, c'est-à-dire de reporter l'examen d'un point à une séance ultérieure de cette session, en particulier mercredi matin après l'examen du point 11. Bien évidemment, s'il n'y a aucune objection de la part des membres du comité quant à votre proposition, à la lumière des éléments que vous avez fournis, eh bien, le point sera reporté comme proposé à mercredi matin. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
I would like to give the floor to Madame Rösler to make a clarification also.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is only in terms of time management, as I explained on Wednesday morning. You have a great number of items, so we will do an assessment if the committee takes such a decision, whether you can manage all these items on Wednesday morning until 1 o'clock. It may be that you have to start the session earlier to be able to do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see representative of Portugal is asking for the floor. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Yes, Madam President, and good day to you. It's actually an issue of principle. It is obvious that the presidency does not want to postpone this matter. This matter, I did not want to intervene in this debate, but now I'm forced on the point of order, because the proposal to adjourn was rightly presented, put forward by 2 members of this committee, no observers, 2 members of this committee. So, and no one opposed that decision, albeit your attempts to, suggest that someone would come up and dispute that proposal. So I think the only logical conclusion, and I don't have any sides, no preference on this, but it's obvious to me that objective issues like the time frame for discussions must adapt itself to substantial issues like what we are discussing, and not the other way around, that it is time for you to make the obvious conclusion of the state of play on this issue here, which is obviously we are going to postpone it. Thank you.
Representative of Lebanon, you have the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous proposons de commencer à 9 heures mercredi. Merci.
Thank you very much. As I see no objection to the request for the postponement of this agenda item 8A to Wednesday, I declare that it is adopted by the committee, so we will deal with the agenda item 8A on Wednesday, and we will have an early start on Wednesday morning to deal with all the agenda items that we will have in our hands. Thank you. Is there any other question or comment on the timetable? Thank you very much. I see no other requests for the floor. So we may now proceed with our work for the day, beginning with item 8B. Ladies and gentlemen, you will remember that due to time constraints, we could not finish the examination of item 8B in Istanbul. Indeed, we have still one nomination to consider, Kang Krachan Forest Complex, submitted by Thailand. Actually, we had an extensive debate on this nomination in Istanbul and on the related draft decision 40-COM8B.11. In particular, it was agreed by the committee to allow more time for consultations in order to propose a formulation of the decision that may be acceptable to all parties. 3 months have passed since the meeting in Istanbul, and I hope that this time was fruitful, bringing us a settled text. In order to resume the debate on this item, I propose that we put on the screen draft decision 40-COM8B11 with the proposed amendments. And I now invite the committee members to express their comments. Representative of Philippines, you have the floor, Madam.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My delegation is pleased to see you and other distinguished colleagues of the committee once again. We look forward to a fruitful resume session and concluding our work in an efficient and timely manner under your leadership. At the outset, allow me to express our deepest condolences to the government and people of Thailand on the passing away of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej. Our delegation recalls that the committee was not able to conclude its deliberation on this property in Istanbul. We believe that the Kangkrachan Forest Complex is a property worthy of the committee's continued deliberation. We take note of the efforts of Thailand to address outstanding issues raised by international and local stakeholders and would encourage further work and progress in this regard. We also would take full cognizance of the concerns expressed by Myanmar on the property and have consistently requested the two state parties to engage in a sincere dialogue with a view to resolving the matter of border delimitation and its impacts on the nomination of the forest complex. As a compromise proposal, we'd like, and to achieve consensus, our delegation wishes to submit an amendment on paragraph 7 as follows. If we can go to para 7. Recommends, this is our new formulation, recommends that the state party continue dialogue with the state party of Myanmar to address concerns regarding the settlement of demarcation of the proposed nominated area. Thank you, Madam Chair.
May I ask the representative of Philippines if they ask for the deletion of the first part of paragraph 7?
Yes, Madam Chair.
For
We
the
request a
deletion.
deletion of the
Yes,
first
yes.
part.
Then you have Portugal and Indonesia.
Yeah. Representative of Portugal, you have the floor, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President, and welcome again. And you can count on this delegation for fruitful work of this committee during the next 3 days. And let me also express our condolences to Thailand for the passing away of His Majesty. Now, Madam President, we don't have any problem with the amendment suggested by the Philippines. We would rather have encourages instead of recommends, but nevertheless, those are only words. What we want is the result at the end of the day, and that Thailand will come back with this issue in a way that it can ensure a swift approval by this committee. Now, we had the problem of the boundaries, which are obviously a very sensitive issue, but we had another problem, and that has been slightly diluted since we've been discussing this, and this was the issue referred on paragraph 3 and 4, whatever, which has to do with the Karen communities and their rights in that area. And we would very much like to see in this draft resolution that this issue is adequately contemplated. We can find some language, but we would like, we cannot accept that this issue is just put away as it is on the present formulations. So if you want, Madam Speaker, I can put forward some language on a new paragraph 3 and 4, and especially 4. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Now I give the floor to the representative of Indonesia. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Indonesia also would like to convey our condolences to the people and government of Thailand for the passed away of His Majesty King Bhumibol. Indonesia are aware of the concern raised by Myanmar regarding the border issue of Kaeng Krachan Forest Complex. In this regard, Indonesia is in line with the distinguished delegation of the Philippines to support the referral option and to put amendments of the draft decision to address concern raised by Myanmar. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative of Peru, Mr. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, we want to express our condolence to the people of Thailand because of the recent death of their king. We are ready to support the proposal presented by the delegation of Philippines. We consider it's adequate. We also consider it important to include the recommendation provided by the delegation of Portugal too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Representative of Lebanon, you have the floor, sir.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Nous appuyons également la proposition présentée par la Philippine pour l'article 7. Concernant l'article 4, nous avons les mêmes préoccupations que le Portugal, parce que l'article tel qu'il était écrit parlait des préoccupations exprimées par le Haut Commissariat des Nations Unies aux droits de l'homme concernant les communautés Karen, etc. Et nous ne comprenons pas pourquoi ces préoccupations ont été complètement enlevées du projet de décision. Il ne s'agit pas de préoccupations d'ONG, il ne s'agit pas de préoccupations... C'est vraiment les Nations Unies qui ont exprimé des préoccupations. Et quelque part, il faut que nous prenions en compte ces préoccupations. Merci.
Thank you very much. Representative of Turkey, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Let me also express our sincere condolences to the people of Thailand on the passing away of His Majesty the King. We also support the language proposed by the Philippines with a minor change. Rather than recommend, we also support encourages at the beginning of the language proposed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I see no more requests. Representative of Tanzania first. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Tanzania would also like to join other members in expressing condolence to the people of Thailand for the passing of the king. And on the issue at hand, we would also want to support the recommendation that has been put forward by Philippines. Tanzania very strongly feels that would really need, as has been said by Portugal, we need more time to be given on this issue. It's the issue that really needs more time. And in this case, we really think it's the issue that very strongly feel it needs actually to be deferred. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Representative of Tunisia, you have the floor.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je voudrais vous souhaiter la bienvenue ainsi qu'à tout le monde et présenter au nom de la délégation nos sincères condoléances pour le décès de Son Altesse le Roi de Thaïlande. Nous nous associons à la proposition faite par les Philippines et en même temps par celle du Pérou, proposant donc plutôt le verbe encourage que recommande. La proposition des Philippines a le mérite d'être plus claire et plus ciblée concernant la situation d'inscription de ce bien. Je voudrais aussi formuler la même chose concernant l'amendement de l'article 4 en nous joignant au Pérou et au Liban. Merci.
Thank you. Representative of Burkina Faso, you have the floor, madam.
Je pense que ça va maintenant. Merci, désolé pour ces petites pannes techniques. Je disais donc que ma délégation souhaitait de fructueux et constructifs échanges à la reprise de cette session et voudrait également se joindre à ceux qui l'ont dévancé pour exprimer sa compassion au peuple thaïlandais suite au décès de Sa Majesté le Roi. Pour ce qui concerne la proposition de décision qui est soumise, ma délégation estime qu'elle vise à permettre à l'interpartie de prendre en compte certaines recommandations qui nous semblent constructives pour tous les partis concernés et, en outre, elle encourage de ce fait les partis à s'attacher au dialogue dans la recherche de solutions aux préoccupations en cause. C'est pourquoi nous appuyons également la recommandation tel que proposé par la Philippine. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Representative of Portugal, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, let me put forward a concrete proposal. And it would be that on paragraph 3, we would keep the alterations suggested both by Vietnam and the Philippines. And then on paragraph 4, in line with what was suggested by Lebanon, we would revert to the original formulation, which refers the nomination of the Carrying Crush and Forest Complex back to the state party, taking note of the strong potential for this property to meet criterion X in order to allow it to more fully address the concerns until the end of the original paragraph. New paragraph 5 and 6 would stay as they are, and then on paragraph 7 we would take in the suggestion of the Philippines. So I think, Madam Speaker, that this would be an adequate compromise between the suggestions that have been put forward. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Representative of Vietnam, you have the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous voudrions, nous aussi, exprimer toutes nos condoléances au peuple thaïlandais pour le décès de Sa Majesté, le roi de la Thaïlande. Et nous appuyons la proposition des Philippines concernant le point 7. Merci.
Cuba. Thank you very much. Representative of Cuba, you have the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Notre délégation veut soutenir aussi la proposition de la Philippines. On pense que c'est la meilleure solution de compromis entre les parties et aussi donne une possibilité de continuer à travailler dans l'amélioration et la solution plus conveniente pour tout le monde. On voudrait aussi transmettre notre condolence au peuple thaïlandais pour le décès de Son Majesté royale, le roi de Thaïlande. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Representative of Kuwait, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kuwait would like to support the proposal given by Philippines, and we support the continuation of the dialogue between Myanmar and Thailand.
Thank you. Representative of Finland, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to start by expressing our most sincerest condolences to the people of Thailand for the loss of Their Majesty the King. As regards the proposals made by Portugal and supported by a number of countries regarding the paragraphs 3 and 4, we would like to support those ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Representative of Kazakhstan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just to express our support to the paragraph, to those countries put forward paragraph 7, especially Philippines, that invites state parties for dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see no more requests for the floor from the members of the committee, so I would like to invite our rapporteur to present the draft decision one by one for each paragraph.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If we refer to the screens, paragraphs 1 and 2 are retained as the original. We have a new paragraph 3 inserted in from the original draft decision, which reads, takes note of the progress made by the state party in conducting consultations with concerned stakeholders in order to achieve the widest possible support for the nomination of the property. Paragraph 4, as I understand it now, we are retaining the original language that was proposed. Therefore, we read, refers the nomination of the Kaeng Krachan Forest Complex, Thailand, back to the State Party, taking note of the strong potential for this property to meet criterion 10, in order to allow it to more fully address the concerns that have been raised by the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights concerning Karen communities within the Kaeng Krachan National Park, including the implementation of a participatory process to resolve rights and livelihood concerns, and to achieve a consensus of support for the nomination of the property, which is, I understand, the original language. That's paragraph 4, and then paragraph 5 is the same, 6 is also the same. Paragraph 7, this is the new 7 that has been just proposed by the delegation of the Philippines, recommends that the State Party continue dialogue with the State Party of Myanmar to address concerns regarding the settlement of demarcation of the proposed nominated area. And then the rest of the paragraph remains the same as the original draft. If I may, I'll just scoot up to new paragraph 3. I'm sorry, I don't think I actually read it, did I? New paragraph 3, you probably have it already in the sheets in front of the blue forms in front of you, takes note of the progress made by the State Party in conducting consultations with concerned stakeholders in order to achieve the widest possible support for the nomination of the property. And that's all the amendments that we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then we can go for each paragraph as amended. For the first and second paragraphs, I don't see that. Yes, paragraph 1, first paragraph. I see no objection, so it is adopted. For second paragraph, I see no objection, adopted. And the third paragraph as amended, I see no objection, adopted. Paragraph 4 as amended, I see no objection. Paragraph 5, I see no objection, adopted. Paragraph 6, I see no objection, adopted as amended. Paragraph 7, I see no objection. Ambassador, representative of Portugal, you have the floor.
Thank you. Sorry.
This is for paragraph 6?
7.
7. Yes.
Sorry, as I say, I won't make a big issue out of it. But it does seem that replacing what recommends by encourages did have some support among committee members, and perhaps you'll be kind enough to suggest to our colleagues that we would retain encouraged. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Ambassador, you are right. We have more support for the comments, more than encourages, isn't it?
Then Philippines.
Representative of Philippines, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My delegation is of the view that we prefer recommends.
So, I think we can accept this paragraph as recommends and delete the encourages. Yeah. So, any more requests for the floor for paragraph 7 as amended? I see none, so it is adopted as amended. This is, yes, we will change the numbers. We will come to this. This is 8, I think, isn't it? Yes. Paragraph 8. We see no objection for paragraph 8, so it is adopted. So we have concluded all the paragraphs so that we can adopt the draft decision 40-COM 8B 11 adopted as amended. As we have now finished the examination of all nominations, we will proceed with the examination of minor modification to the boundaries of properties already inscribed on the World Heritage List. You will find all the related draft decisions in document 8B addendum. I'm going to call again on IUCN and ICOMOS to be very concise in their presentation, as you will be allocated only 2 minutes to present each minor modification proposal. I thank you in advance for your cooperation. We will start with the minor boundary modifications of natural properties. I now invite IUCN to present the proposed minor modification of the Giants Causeway and Causeway Coast, United Kingdom. IUCN, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and IUCN would also like to convey its good wishes to you and to the committee for the success of this resumed session. IUCN's evaluation of this minor boundary modification is on page 33 of the English and page 37 of the French evaluation reports in the addendum to our evaluation document. This boundary modification extends the boundary of this coastal site by a small distance of only 5 meters inland to account for the possibility of continued coastal erosion, and this is a small amendment of just about 1% of the current area of the property. The modification recognizes that as a coastal site, active erosion of the sea cliff is part of the natural processes, and the modification was recommended by a previous advisory mission of IUCN in 2013 and previously also noted by the committee as necessary to ensure that the attributes of outstanding universal value are maintained within the boundary of the property as the coastline erodes. IUCN has also noted that the state party has taken expert advice to set the distance inland, which the modification pertains to. The documentation for this modification is very clear. It is clearly justified in maintaining the integrity of the property, and we only consider that the state party will need to maintain its monitoring of this property in the long term to account for further erosion as the years progress. But as this modification is presented, Madam Chair, we have no hesitation to recommend it for approval, and the relevant decision is on page 4 of both the English and the French versions of document 8B add. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments on this item? I see no request for the floor from the members of the committee, so As there are no objections, I now declare draft decision 40.8b addendum is adopted. We will now continue with the minor boundary modifications of mixed properties. The first one is Vietnam Frank and Landscape Complex. I now invite ICOMOS and IUCN to present the proposed minor modification of the Trunk and Landscape Complex, Vietnam. ICOMOS first, and then IUCN. You have the floor.
With your permission, Madam Chair, we have the slides arranged for IUCN to speak first. Yes, so if I just proceed, and as a mixed side, ICOMOS's remarks will follow my short remarks. So this evaluation of IUCN's is on page 39 of the English IUCN evaluation report and page 43 of the French version. This is again a very small change to this property. It effectively transfers a small amount of the land that was in the buffer zone of the property when it was inscribed into the boundary of the property, but there are some slightly complicated changes which I'll just briefly explain. They involve extension in the northwest sector of the property to include the Din Mountain, which is the natural setting for an ancient pagoda, extension of the southern boundary of the property to include a notable mountain area, a small extension of the northeastern section of the property to encompass more of the isolated limestone towers that are part of the reason it is recognized for its natural values, a reduction of the property at the north margin to exclude an old rock quarry area, which is close to the Hoang Long River, and lastly, a reduction of the property to exclude developed areas around the Tam Kok boat wharf, which removes essentially some inappropriate developed areas from within the property. The map shows you the effect of these small changes. They're clearly explained in the documentation that's been provided by the state party, and the state party has adopted the principle to also use more clearly natural features or clearly identifiable human-made features so that the boundaries are very clearly now understood, and as I've already said, to exclude the inappropriate developed areas. There are no changes to the management or protection arrangements for the property that result from these changes. And as per the decision that is noted, we would just draw the attention of the state party to the importance of continued vigilance in relation to development in the buffer zone to ensure that there are no threats from any of that to the property in the future, noting it is a fragile and extremely valuable property. On that basis, IUCN's recommendation is for approval of this modification, and I'll just hand now for ICOMOS to complete its remarks, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Batman. So, ICOMOS will take the floor also? No. You will have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You have the floor, Madam.
ICOMOS accepts the justifications proposed for the modification of the boundaries. We note, though, that the proposed extensions relate to natural attributes of the property and do not support the cultural attributes which relate to evidence of human occupation and adaptation to climate change from the Pleistocene to the Middle Holocene periods. Nevertheless, we accept that this minor modification would strengthen natural attributes. We note, however, that the modification has not addressed the recommendation of the committee to put in place an appropriate surrounding buffer zone, and we consider that this needs to be addressed as part of the finalization of the management plan. ICOMOS therefore supports this boundary modification, but with a recommendation relating to the management plan and the buffer zone. Thank you.
I thank you. Now the floor is open for the comments and questions of the members of the committee. I see no request for the floor at this moment. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40.8b.36 is adopted. We will now continue with the minor boundary modifications of cultural properties, and the next item is site of Palmyra from Syrian Arab Republic. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of the site of Palmyra, Syrian Arab Republic. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the time of inscription of this property, no buffer zone was defined. Given the intense vulnerabilities being experienced at the present time, the State Party has submitted a proposal for the delineation of a buffer zone, and this aims to protect the immediate setting of the property and important views. No description has, however, been provided of the proposed boundaries, nor is it precisely clear what is included. The aims of the buffer zone are commendable, but they do tend to imply that the main protection offered by the buffer zone is a visual one. There are many attributes in and around the property, in and around the buffer zone that includes attributes related to outstanding universal value. What needs to be clarified is precisely what exists within the buffer zone that are related to the remains of the ancient city and thus need protection. Also, the attributes that directly relate to the outstanding universal of the property need to be integrated into the protective zones. In some cases, these extend well beyond the buffer zones and need to be protected as part of a wider setting. The area around Palmyra is rich in archaeological remains relating to early settlements, and these need to be clearly identified. If the buffer zone is to be affected, ICOMOS considers that more precision is needed on the boundaries and clearer protection offered in relation to the attributes that support outstanding universal value. In conclusion, ICOMOS suggests that in order to allow this clarity on the purpose and protection of the buffer zone, more precision should be provided on the boundaries and on the various protective measures that can be put in place. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The floor is open for the members of the committee to make their comments. I see no request for the floor at this moment. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40-8B.37 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of the Grand Canal, China. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Le Grand Canal en Chine. Au cours du processus d'évaluation du Grand Canal, l'ICOMOS avait formulé des recommandations spécifiques sur la question des zones tampons, portant tant sur leur définition que leur régime de protection, en raison d'une approche parfois minimaliste. L'État partie avait alors signifié qu'un travail de révision des zones tampons était alors en cours pour 4 des éléments du bien proposés pour inscription. Le Comité du patrimoine mondial, dans sa décision 38-8B.23, avait recommandé que le travail de révision engagé sur le système des zones tampons, tant dans leur dimension territoriale que réglementaire, soit poursuivi, et que la possibilité d'une zone tampon complémentaire afin d'indiquer la continuité du Grand Canal soit envisagée. La présente demande est une réponse à la décision du comité en ce qui concerne les zones tampons. 10 extensions mineures sont proposées concernant 6 des 31 éléments formant le bien en série. Elles concernent des environnements à caractère urbain historique, à caractère urbain moderne et à caractère rural. Des études préalables ont été réalisées en concertation avec les gouvernements provinciaux, les municipalités et les experts. Vous pouvez faire passer les diapositives, s'il vous plaît ? L'ICOMOS considère que le travail effectué par l'État partie présente un ensemble cohérent et justifié d'extension des zones tampons existantes. Ces modifications s'accompagnent d'outils propres à donner un cadre conceptuel et technique approprié pour une gestion satisfaisante des zones tampons. Il conviendra toutefois de considérer si les autres sections formant le bien en série nécessitent ou pas des ajustements de zones tampons, ainsi que d'envisager d'approfondir le concept de corridor visuel du manuel d'orientation pour la protection coordonnée des paysages du Grand Canal. Aucun élément nouveau n'a été apporté en ce qui concerne la proposition de zones tampons complémentaires continues, et l'ICOMOS est conscient de l'extrême difficulté à mettre en œuvre un niveau de protection même limité sur des étendues aussi considérables et densément peuplées. En conclusion, l'ICOMOS recommande que la proposition de modification des zones tampons de 6 sections du Grand Canal, Chine, soit approuvée. Des recommandations complémentaires accompagnent cette recommandation, notamment de considérer si les autres sections formant le bien en série du Grand Canal nécessitent ou pas des ajustements de zones tampons, et de poursuivre les efforts de la conservation environnementale et paysagère en définissant par exemple des cônes de vision prioritaires des biens et en les protégeant de l'impact de constructions nouvelles. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. The floor is open for the comments of the members of the committee. I see no request for the floor, and as there are no objections, I now declare draft decision 40Com 8B.38 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of the Humayun's tomb, Delhi, India. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. La tombe de Humayun en Inde. Au moment de l'inscription du bien sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en 1993, il avait été convenu que les limites du bien devraient comprendre la tombe principale et ses jardins environnants, et que les structures associées seraient incluses dans une zone tampon. Au moment de l'inscription, l'ICOMOS notait qu'aucune zone tampon n'avait été identifiée, mais que tous les monuments protégés en Inde sont entourés d'une zone de 100 mètres dans laquelle tous les projets de construction sont contrôlés par Archaeological Survey of India et d'une zone supplémentaire de 300 mètres dans laquelle tous les projets d'aménagement sont soumis à une enquête pour commentaires. La présente demande de modification propose d'ajouter au bien 6 zones distinctes d'une superficie supplémentaire totale de 5,44 hectares et d'ajouter à la zone tampon une extension d'une superficie de 53,21 hectares. L'objet principal des modifications proposées est d'inclure les tombes mogholes du XVIe siècle, qui, ensemble avec les tombes-jardins mogholes du XVIe siècle déjà incluses dans le bien, forment un ensemble important et cohérent. La protection juridique des extensions proposées pour le bien et la zone tampon est assurée par différentes lois. La gestion du bien revient à l'Archaeological Survey of India, ce dernier ayant également la capacité de contrôler le développement de la zone tampon. Cette proposition est conforme à la déclaration rétrospective de valeur universelle exceptionnelle adoptée par le Comité du patrimoine mondial pour ce bien en 2015. L'ICOMOS considère que les modifications des limites proposées pour la tombe de Humayun et sa zone tampon contribueront à protéger la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien et renforceront son intégrité, sa gestion et sa présentation aux visiteurs. En conclusion, l'ICOMOS recommande que la proposition de modification mineure des limites de la tombe de Humayun soit approuvée et que également la zone tampon proposée pour la tombe de Humayun soit approuvée. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. The floor is open for the members' comments and questions. I see no request for the floor. As there are no objections, I now declare draft decision 40Com 8B39 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of the sacred sites and pilgrimage routes in the Key Mountain Range, Japan. But before I give the floor to the Secretariat, Mr. Balsamo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to remind the committee that we received a factual error notification for this minor boundary modification submitted by Japan, which is to be found on page 96 of the English document INF 8B4 and on page 97 of the same document in the French version. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Balsamo. ICOMOS, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Kii Mountains Range property consists of 3 sacred Shinto sites linked by 3 pilgrimage routes to the ancient capital cities of Nara and Kyoto. Of these 3 original pilgrim routes that were part of that are property, 2 are affected by the proposed changes of this minor boundary modification. The second, Kumano Sanki Michi, connects the shrines to Kyoto and the rest of Japan, and this would be increased by a small amount of 7.3 hectares. The third route, which is Koyasan Choisimichi, currently 24 kilometers long, would be increased again by a small amount. And the re-establishment of its 4 sub-routes would restore the unity of a historic circumnavigation of the pilgrimage routes, which would be of great benefit. The minor modification proposal is the result of management documentation that was set out in the management plan of 2006, and this plan has been modified to include the protection and management of the proposed extensions to the pilgrimage routes. ICOMOS therefore supports these additions as they would clearly strengthen the specific features of the pilgrimage route network which would be beneficial for the property. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, ICOMOS. The floor is open for the comments of the members of the committee. I see no request for the floor at this moment. As there are no objections, I now declare draft decision 40Com 8B40 adopted. The next item is Uzbekistan Historic Center of Bukhara. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of the Historic Center of Bukhara, Uzbekistan. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The development of a GIS database as part of the development of a management plan for this property identified some weaknesses in the present boundary and buffer zone. And this proposed minor boundary modification aims to address those weaknesses, which related to 3 things. A number of important attributes of outstanding universal value were outside the property boundary. The buffer zone was too narrow to adequately protect the property from development pressures. And thirdly, both the property and the buffer zones were inadequately protected. The committee requested the state party to address these issues at its 39th session. ICOMOS supports the proposed extensions, which allow 2 important mausolea, a section of the town walls, a town gate, and important residential areas to be included within the property. The modifications also enlarge the buffer zone, and we note that the additional measures that have been put in place to strengthen the protection of both the property and the buffer zone. Nevertheless, we consider that further work is needed to strengthen urban planning arrangements and to incorporate formally the revised boundaries within planning tools. ICOMOS therefore recommends that the minor boundary modification is approved, but with specific recommendations related to planning and management. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Now the floor is open for the members of the committee. I see no request for the floor. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40.8b.41 adopted. The next item is another site from Uzbekistan, Ichankaleh. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of the Ichankaleh, Uzbekistan. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The need for a buffer zone was identified at the time of inscription of this property in 1990, and for it to be given adequate protection in the face of urban development and high-rise buildings. The proposed minor boundary modification is for the establishment of such a buffer zone, and this covers the surrounding newer town, but it also includes a small reduction in the property boundary, with the portion taken out being included within the buffer zone. ICOMOS supports the adjustment of the boundary of the property and also considers that the protection offered for the proposed buffer zone is adequate. However, what is unclear is how this buffer zone will be managed and how its management will be related to the management of the property. ICOMOS therefore recommends that this minor boundary modification is referred back to the State Party in order to allow it to clarify management arrangements and to ensure that the management of the buffer zone is given importance in the development of planning procedures. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, ICOMOS. The floor is open for the members of the committee. I see none of the member countries are asking for the floor. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40.8b.42 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present the next item, the proposed minor modification of the Place Stanislas, Place de la Carrière, Place d'Alliance in Nancy, France. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was inscribed in 1983 without a buffer zone, but since the first periodic reporting exercise, the State Party has had the intention to improve such a buffer zone. This modification consists of putting in place a buffer zone of 159 hectares that will provide adequate protection for this property. So ICOMOS proposes that this buffer zone should be approved, as we consider that it is quite adequate and we are happy with the protection and management. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments? I see no request for the floor. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40.8b.43 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of Mudéjar architecture of Aragon, Spain. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Le bien a été inscrit sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en 1986, puis étendu en 2001. À cette époque, le Comité du patrimoine mondial et l'ICOMOS notèrent la nécessité de poursuivre le travail sur le plan de gestion et de prendre en considération le rapport entre les monuments et leur environnement urbain. L'étroitesse de certaines zones tampons était alors en question. La présente demande consiste à étendre les zones tampons de 3 des éléments du bien: Sainte-Marie de Calatayud, la CO ou cathédrale Saint-Salvador de Saragosse et Saint-Paul de Saragosse. L'objectif de ces modifications est d'aligner les zones tampons sur les limites des zones protégées au titre des biens d'intérêt culturel. Dans chaque cas, les modifications consistent en des extensions de superficie globale des zones existantes. La modification des limites de la zone tampon de Saint-Paul de Saragosse propose une forme différente qui exclura quelques rues à l'est et à l'ouest de l'élément inscrit et actuellement incluse dans la zone tampon. L'ICOMOS considère que la révision et l'agrandissement des zones tampons de ces 3 éléments permettront de renforcer la protection de l'environnement des biens. La coordination de la gestion et de la protection sera facilitée par l'alignement des limites du bien inscrit au patrimoine mondial avec celles prévues par les mécanismes juridiques pertinents. Cependant, l'ICOMOS considère que la logique justifiant l'exclusion de certaines zones comprises à l'intérieur de la zone tampon actuelle de Saint-Paul de Saragosse n'a pas été suffisamment établie. En conclusion, l'ICOMOS recommande que la proposition de zone tampon pour Sainte-Marie de Calatayud et la CO ou cathédrale Saint-Salvador de Saragosse soit approuvée. L'ICOMOS recommande également que l'examen de la zone tampon pour Saint-Paul de Saragosse soit renvoyé à l'État partie afin de lui permettre d'incorporer toutes les zones incluses dans la zone tampon actuelle dans la nouvelle zone tampon ou fournir une justification claire pour l'exclusion de certaines zones situées aux extrémités est et ouest de l'actuelle zone tampon. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments from the members of the committee? I see none. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40com-8b.44 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present a proposed minor modification of the Old Town of Caceres, Spain. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Au moment de l'inscription du bien sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en 1986, celui-ci ne comportait pas de zone tampon. En 1990, le conseil municipal de Caceres a adopté le plan spécial de protection et de revitalisation du patrimoine architectural de la ville de Caceres. En 2015, l'État partie a déposé une demande de modification mineure afin de faire reconnaître comme zone tampon l'emprise territoriale exacte du plan spécial. Au total, le bien inscrit et la zone tampon ainsi suggérée couvraient 69,63 hectares. Les raisons présidant à l'établissement d'une telle zone tampon avaient été considérées comme fondées, mais l'examen de la demande avait été renvoyé par le Comité du patrimoine mondial afin de permettre à l'État partie, d'une part, de fournir des explications complémentaires sur la raison du choix des limites proposées, de fournir des informations sur les dispositifs de gestion mis en place pour la zone tampon et de fournir un calendrier pour la préparation du plan de gestion de la vieille ville de Caceres. La présente demande est une réponse à la décision du Comité du patrimoine mondial. La zone tampon proposée comprend les faubourgs de la cité fortifiée, dont l'existence remonte au XIIe siècle et qui sont attestés par les documents cartographiques du XIXe siècle. Pour veiller à l'application du plan spécial au fil des ans et en accord avec la loi, un comité de surveillance a été mis en place, présidé par le maire, composé des représentants des services techniques de la mairie et de divers organismes. Un plan de gestion, combiné avec la révision du plan spécial, est en cours d'établissement sous l'égide de la municipalité et du consortium, et un calendrier pour sa finalisation a été établi. En conclusion, l'ICOMOS reconnaît les actions de l'État partie pour maintenir l'intégrité du site à partir de la législation nationale existante et des directives locales. En conclusion, l'ICOMOS recommande que la zone tampon proposée pour la vieille ville de Caceres soit approuvée. L'ICOMOS suggère également que l'État partie soumette au Centre du patrimoine mondial et à l'ICOMOS pour considération le plan de gestion ainsi que le plan spécial de protection une fois qu'ils seront finalisés. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments from the members of the committee? I see no request for the floor at this moment. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40com-8b.45 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of the monuments of Oviedo and the Kingdom of Asturias, Spain. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This serial property was inscribed in 1985 and included several churches of Maria de Naranjo, San Miguel de Lilo, and Santa Cristina de Lena. In 1998, the State Party submitted a modification and extended the property by the inclusion of 2 new components. This minor boundary modification is for the inclusion of the Church of San Salvador de Valdedios. This is a church located some 40 kilometers east of Oviedo. According to the documentation submitted by the State Party, the church is the only basilica that survives from the time of King Alfonso III of the Asturias, who ruled at the end of the 9th and the beginning of the 10th century. It is considered that this church would represent an important element in the chronology of the early medieval religious architecture of the region, and it has a definite determined date for its consecration. The documentation suggests that this church would also be a unique variation of a building type, as none of the other basilica-like churches in the region would exhibit similar features. The church would also, it is suggested, complete the representation of the pre-Romanesque churches of the Asturias on the World Heritage List. While a comparison between the church and other churches has been developed, and additional considerations on the management system have been provided, ICOMOS does not consider that this should be a minor modification to the boundary of the serial property that already exists. ICOMOS considers that this is a proposal for an extension to include a major new component and should be put forward as a major boundary modification. In conclusion, therefore, ICOMOS recommends that the proposed minor boundary modification to the monuments of Oviedo and the Kingdom of Asturias should not be approved. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. May I ask the members of the committee if they have any comments? I see no request for the floor. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40Com 8B.46 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of the Chacoya Mound State Historic Site, United States of America. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Lorsque le bien a été inscrit sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en 1982, la carte montrant les délimitations de celui-ci comportait une erreur relative à la limite du site sur son côté sud-est. Elle documentait les propriétés acquises par l'État d'Illinois en 1979, incluant à tort un petit triangle délimité par un fossé et un sentier. Elle excluait également une étroite bande de terrain à la limite est du site. La présente modification des limites du bien corrige les erreurs graphiques sur la carte d'origine. Elle n'a pas d'impact sur la protection juridique ni sur la gestion du bien. En conclusion, l'ICOMOS recommande que cette proposition de modification mineure des limites du site historique d'État des Cahokia Mounds aux États-Unis soit approuvée. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Are there any comments from the members of the committee? I see none. As there are no objections, I now declare decision 40Com 8B47 adopted. I now invite ICOMOS to present the proposed minor modification of La Fortaleza and San Juan National Historic Site in Puerto Rico, United States of America. ICOMOS, you have the floor.
Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente. Lorsque le bien a été inscrit sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en 1983, sa superficie en hectares n'avait pas été définie avec clarté. La présente modification, réalisée sur la base des ressources numériques actualisées du National Park Service, consiste à corriger les inexactitudes figurant sur la carte dressée lors de l'inscription du bien et permet d'établir une superficie totale du bien à 33,39 hectares, soit environ 1 hectare de plus que l'estimation d'origine. Ces corrections portent sur des parcelles de terrain qui avaient été identifiées à tort comme appartenant au National Park Service qui administre ce bien en série. Cette modification mineure des limites n'a pas d'impact sur la protection juridique ni sur la gestion du bien. En conclusion, l'ICOMOS recommande que la proposition de modification mineure des limites de la Fortaleza et du site historique national de San Juan à Porto Rico, aux États-Unis, soit approuvée. Je vous remercie, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much, ICOMOS. Now the floor is open for the members of the committee to make their comments. I see no requests for the floor at this moment, so as there are no objections, I now declare decision 40com 8B.48 adopted. We will now continue with our agenda item 8B and proceed with adoption of the 7 statements of outstanding universal value of properties inscribed at the 38th session in Doha in 2014 and 39th session in Bonn last year. You will find the 7 statements in document 8B addendum. I now invite Mr. Balsamo to present this point. Mr. Balsamo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Here we are dealing with the 7 statements of outstanding universal value that were provisionally adopted by the committee at its previous sessions. And the 7 statements concern the following properties: France, Climat Terroir of Burgundy; Jordan, baptism site Bethany beyond Jordan, Al Maktas; Mongolia, Great Barkhan, Kaldon Mountain and its surrounding sacred landscape; Saudi Arabia, rock art in the Hell region of Saudi Arabia; Turkey, the Abakir Fortress and Elsel Garden cultural landscape; and Turkey, Ephesus, and Vietnam, Trang An landscape complex. These statements have been refined with the cooperation of the advisory bodies and the concerned state parties, and they are ready now for adoption. Draft decision 40com 8B50 is on page 8 of both the English and French version of document 8B-Ad. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Balsamo. And if there are no comments or objections, I would propose to proceed with the adoption of the draft decision 40com 8B.50. I see no objection. I now declare decision 40com 8B.50 adopted. As the committee decided to move agenda item 8A to Wednesday, so we will proceed with agenda item 8D now. Agenda item 8D is devoted to the issue of the clarifications of property boundaries and areas by state parties. Please refer to document WHC/2014 16/40.com/8D. This document presents 25 boundary clarifications received from 17 states parties as an answer to the retrospective inventory and in the framework of the periodic reporting exercise. I now invite Mrs. Petya Tocharova to present this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Document 8D, as indicated by the chairperson, presents 25 cases of cartographic and geographic information that have been provided by 17 states parties from 3 different regions on the boundaries of their World Heritage Sites. Clarification of boundaries displays the delimitation of properties at the time of their inscription on the World Heritage List. It is prepared after the inscription of the property. Thus, it is, in a way, a retrospective mapping of the World Heritage Site at the time of inscription. As it has been noted in the document and over the years, about 70% of the nomination files have not been fully complete at the time of inscription. And since the first presentation of boundary clarifications in 2007, further to the committee's decision on to launch the retrospective inventory process, a total of 334 boundary clarifications overall have been successfully prepared by states parties, and the committee has taken note of them. There are a number of properties still pending for clarification of boundaries that would need to be prepared at one moment or another. And the World Heritage Center has been providing, and continues to do so, support to all states parties in the preparation of clarification of boundaries. As you see, there are 3 regions and 25 cases of clarification in the draft decision. The regions are Arab states, Europe and North America, and Latin America and the Caribbean. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tocharova. Now I would like to invite state parties to express their comments on document WHC/16/40.com/8D and to adopt the draft decision 40.com/8D. I see no request for the floor. If there are no comments, I declare the draft decision 40.com/8D adopted and item 8D closed. We shall now move to our agenda item 8E, adoption of retrospective statements of outstanding universal value. Please refer to document WHC/16/40.com/8E This document presents the draft decision concerning the adoption of 62 retrospective statements of outstanding universal value submitted by 18 states parties for properties which had no statement approved at the time of their inscription on the World Heritage List. The retrospective statements of outstanding universal value are included in the original language submitted in the annex of this document. I now invite Ms. Petya Tocharova to present this item. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please would like to note first that this is a revised document, as there were a few factual errors in the original document, and therefore you have to refer to document as indicated by the Chair, WH C/16/40com 8E.rev. The document presents 62 retrospective statements of outstanding universal value. They have been presented by 8 states parties, and they're distributed as follows. Europe and North America, 57 statements, retrospective statements of outstanding universal value, and Latin America and the Caribbean, 5 statements. As you know, the retrospective statements of outstanding universal value process, if we can call it like this, has also developed within the framework of the retrospective inventory process, and which was launched further to the first cycle. And basically, the different regions have been working in parallel with the periodic reporting cycle for each of the regions. So most of the statements have already been adopted from the different regions which started the retrospective inventory earlier. That's why we see an important number of statements, retrospective statements from the region of Europe and North America, which finished the second cycle of periodic reporting only last year, when the committee adopted the report presented on that subject. And meanwhile, other regions where the process has not been finalized continue to submit, to prepare, work with the advisory bodies and the World Heritage Center, and submit to the committee the retrospective statements for their respective properties. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite state parties to express their comments on document WHC/16/40.com/8E.rev and to adopt the draft decision 40com 8E in its entirety. Is there any committee member wishing to take the floor? I see no request for the floor. I declare draft decision 40com 8E adopted and item 8E closed. Dear colleagues, we have already finished the agenda items that is planned for the morning session. Although we have some time until 1 o'clock, I would like to suggest that we adjourn our meeting now and allow some time for the delegations for their consultations. And we already have a working group meeting also today, this lunchtime. So I would like to adjourn the meeting now, and we will resume our meeting at 3 p.m. sharp this afternoon, and we will continue with agenda item 9A. Before that, I would like to give the floor to the Secretariat to make some announcements.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There is a side event that has been scheduled for 1 o'clock in room 9. This is the side event on World Heritage Education with a very nice title, Cool, organized by the Netherlands. And I would also like to recall that the budget group will meet in room 4 for its 5th meeting, at room 4 at 2 p.m. until 3 p.m. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. I adjourn the meeting.